So good day everyone. We are group 4 and in this video we're going to discuss about virtue ethics. But before we formally start with our topic, let me first introduce you to our website. We named our website as Aristotle's because the main focus of our topic is Aristotle's virtue ethics, which is an ethical theory emphasizing moral character and the development of virtues to achieve eudaimonia. This website is solely focused in information related to Aristotle's virtue ethics. And now, going back to our topic, we will discuss Aristotle's treatise on virtue, the telos and happiness, and the golden mean, all in the concept of Aristotle. Then the intended learning outcomes of this lesson is first, to explain the essence of virtue, second, critique virtue ethics, and third, discuss the idea of Aristotle concerning the significance of telos, happiness, and golden mean. To formally start, we have here Mr. Mendoza.
So good evening. This will be our topic overview on our website. So here, Aristotle philosophy isn't just about following rules. It's about becoming a good person through habits and character development. Instead of seeing morality as a strict of do's and don'ts, he believed that being ethical means finding balance in how we act and make decisions. One of his biggest ideas is eudaimonia, or the ultimate goal of life, which is more than just happiness. It is about living well and fulfilling our purpose. To get there, we need to develop a virtue through practice and experience. Aristotle explains that every action has telos or purpose, and our choices should help us move toward that greater good. A huge impact or a huge part of this is the golden mean, which says that virtues is always between two extremes. Take courage, for example. It is the balance between cowardice and recklessness. The same goes for honesty, generosity, and other virtues. This idea helps us make better moral choices by avoiding extremes and striving for balance. So this will be the background of Aristotle's. So we made this like a message type in Discord. We tried our best, but here it is na. So it seems if, if makikita natin, parang nag-uusap sila. This is Aristotle's. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, which he which he messaged this student of his. Can you tell me about yourself specifically related to ethics? His or her student asked, and then Aristotle replies, an excellent question. Aristotle was born in northern Greece in 384 BCE in a small city called Stagira. His father was a physician to the king of Macedonia, so he grew up with a strong interest in observation and learning. When he was older, he traveled to Athens and spent 20 years studying at Plato's academy. Plato was a great teacher but it didn't always agree with him, daw sabi. He focused a lot in ideal form, while Aristotle himself was more interested in the real world and how people live and make choices. That's what that's what led Aristotle to develop his own ideas on this. In his work, Nicomachean Ethics, he argued that the key to a good life is eudaimonia. a deep sense of happiness and fulfillment. But it is not just about pleasure or wealth. True happiness came from living virtuously, developing good habits, and making balanced choices. Aristotle also introduced the doctrine of the mean, which says virtue is about finding the right balance between extremes. For examples, for example, courage is a virtue, but too much of it makes you reckless, and too little makes you coward. It's all about moderation. Later on, he found he founded his school, the Lyceum, where he taught the students about ethics, politics, science, pretty much everything. Now, let's move on to Aristotle's treatise on virtues that will be discussed by Mr. Gianpaolo Mendigorin and his other partners.
Aristotle's treatise on virtues. Aristotle argues that virtues are habits developed through consistent practice and are essential for achieving eudaimonia, or a fulfilling and flourishing life. He categorizes virtues into moral virtues, which involve striking a balance between deficiency and excess, such as courage being the balance between recklessness and cowardice, and intellectual virtues, which focus on wisdom and reasoning. Aristotle emphasizes that virtue is not innate but cultivated through repeated actions and guided by rational thought. Nicomachean Ethics on Virtue Ethics. Nicomachean Ethics is Aristotle's most significant work on virtue ethics, where he defines virtues as a character traits that lead to moral excellence and a fulfilled life. He distinguishes between two types of virtues, which are moral virtues and intellectual virtues. Moral virtues concern with character and emotions such as courage, temperance, and justice. These virtues were developed through habituation or repeated practice of virtues or actions. Intellectual virtues related to knowledge and reasoning such as wisdom and understanding. These virtues develop through education and rational thinking. Aristotle argues that virtue is mean between extremes, excess and deficiency. For example, courage is the balance between recklessness or excess and cowardice or deficiency. This concept, known as doctrine of the mean, emphasizes that moral virtue is about achieving balance and moderation in behavior. Unlike the ontological ethics, which focuses on moral duties or consequentialism, which prioritize outcomes, Aristotle's virtue ethics is centered on character development and moral habit formation as the path to ethical living. Virtue and achieving eudaimonia. Aristotle believed that the ultimate goal of human life is eudaimonia, which is best translated as human flourishing or living well. Unlike pleasure or wealth, eudaimonia is a long-term state of fulfillment achieving by living virtuously and using reason effectively. According to Aristotle, achieving eudaimonia requires practicing moral and intellectual virtues consistently, engaging in rational thought and self-reflection, and lastly, contributing positively to society and maintaining just relationships. A person who develops virtues and make ethical choices not only benefits themselves but also enhances the well-being of others, making virtue ethics a holistic approach to morality. Essence and concept of moral values. Aristotle defines moral virtues as character traits that enable individuals to make ethical choices and cultivate excellence in behavior. These virtues are neither innate nor taught but are developed through experience and practice. Moral virtues as described as golden mean between two extremes. First is excess or having too much of trait, which leads to vice. For example, is recklessness, and the other is deficiency or lacking a trait, which is also leads to vice. Example is cowardice. Some key moral virtues and their corresponding means include courage, the balance between being too reckless and being too fearful. Second, temperance, the balance between having too much pleasure and avoiding pleasure completely. Third is generosity, the balance between giving too much and being too selfish. Fourth is justice, or lastly, justice, giving people what they deserve fairly and honesty. By constantly practicing virtue, individuals develop moral character, shaping them into ethical and responsible members of society. For subtopic of virtue ethics, virtue ethics applies to many areas of life, including leadership, business, social justice, sports, and technology. It focuses on building good character and making ethical choices rather than just following rules. Here are some subtopics with real-world example. Virtue ethics in leadership. Good leaders practice honesty, fairness, and courage. For example, Jacinda Ardern, former Prime Minister of New Zealand, showed compassion and strength during crises like the COVID-19 pandemic. Her leadership reflects Aristotle's ideas that a leader must balance wisdom with kindness to make ethical decisions. 2. Virtue ethics in business companies that act with honesty and fairness earn public trust, while those that deceive face consequences. The Volkswagen emission scandal is an example of how dishonesty damages a company's reputation. In contrast, Patagonia, a clothing brand, focuses on fair wages and sustainability, showing responsibility and ethical business practices. 3 is virtue ethics in social justice movements. For justice often reflect Aristotle's virtue of courage and fairness. Malala Yousafzai risked her life fighting for girls' education, showing bravery and determination. Similarly, the Black Lives Matter movement promotes fairness by addressing racial injustice and pushing for equal treatment. 4. Virtue ethics in sports athletes who show discipline, respect, and honesty becomes role models. For instance, Lionel Messi is admired not just for his skill but for his humanity and sportsmanship. On the other hand, Lance Armstrong's doping scandal shows how abandoning virtue for personal gain can ruin a career. Virtue ethics in technology. New technologies raise ethical concerns about fairness and responsibility. AI systems, for example, can be biased, leading to unfair treatment in areas like hiring and law enforcement. Ethical developers must balance innovation with fairness, ensuring technology benefits society without harming individuals.
Good evening, everyone. Now, I will discuss about the 12 virtues according to Aristotle. But first of all, what is virtue? Virtue is the key to living a fulfilled life, or what we call eudaimonia. Eudaimonia, human flourishing. To achieve this, you must develop good character by consistently making the right choices. Here's a breakdown of the virtues and how they shape moral behavior. The first virtue is courage. Courage is about standing firm in difficulties while avoiding both recklessness and cowardice. A brave person faces challenges wisely, not impulsively. Here's an example. Quitting a job with a plan is reckless, but refusing a better career opportunity due to fear of failure is cowardice. So, in other terms, courage is when you face something difficult or scary. But we should do it anyway because it's the right thing to do. It could mean standing up for someone being bullied even if you feel nervous, or trying something new like speaking in front of the class. True courage isn't about doing dangerous things, but it's about doing what's right even when you're unsure or afraid. The next virtue is temperance. Moderation in pleasures is essential. Excess leads to self-destruction, while too much restraint dulls life. Here's an example. Social media is fun, but excessive use leads to anxiety and addiction. Balance is key. So, in basic terms, ang sobra po ay nakakasama. And the third virtue is liberality. True generosity lies between overly extravagant and excessively frugal. Give freely but don't harm yourself in the process. Here's an example. Sharing food is good, but giving away everything and starving yourself is not wise. Liberality means being generous and willing to share what you have, but it also means doing it wisely. It's about helping others when you can, whether it's sharing your toys or giving your time to help a friend. But you don't want to give too much that you end up something left for yourself. And the fourth virtue is magnificence. Wealth should be used with grace and responsibility, neither wasting it or nor being overly stingy. Here's an example. Warren Buffett is a rich but still lives simply. True magnificence, handling resources wisely. The next virtue is magnanimity. Confidence and humility go hand in hand. Being too prideful is arrogance, while lacking self-worth is self-depreciation. Here's an example. Acknowledge your achievements but never belittle others for their failure. So, ang magnanimity po ay ang pagiging humble at ang di pagiging mayabang kapag ikaw ay nasa taas na. Ang next virtue is ambition. Strive for success but never at the expense of important values like family and well-being. Here's an example. Working non-stop may lead to promotion, but missing out on life's meaningful moment isn't worth it. The seventh virtue is patience. Anger is destructive. A patient person balances frustration with the tolerance while knowing when to stand firm. Here's an example. Staying calm in an argument is strength, but tolerating endless disrespect isn't patience, it's weakness. So, patience is about staying calm when things don't go as planned. It means waiting for something, whether it's for your turn in a game or for your hard work to pay off. Being patient is important because sometimes things take time, and rushing or getting upset won't help. It's about trusting that things will work out even if they don't happen immediately. The eighth virtue is truthfulness. Honesty is important, but brutal bluntness can harm relationships. Truth should be spoken with wisdom. Here's an example. Giving constructive criticism is helpful. Insulting someone under the guise of honesty is not. May kasabihan nga na tayo simula nung tayo pa ay bata na honesty is the best policy. So, speaking up the truth is important always. The ninth virtue is wittiness. Humor is a social virtue, but foolishness is not. A witty person is intelligent, not obnoxious. Here's an example. A well-timed joke lightens the mood, while excessive goofiness can be annoying. So, ito po ay ang pagiging matalino sa lahat ng bagay. But, sometimes, ayusin natin yung mga words na ginagamit natin dahil baka makasakit tayo ng damdamin ng iba. Ang next virtue is friendliness. Friendship should be genuine and balanced, not distant but also not overwhelming. Here's an example. Supporting your friends is good, but constantly demanding attention can be exhausting for them. The next virtue is modesty. Modesty lies between excessiveness, shyness, and arrogance. Know when to accept faults and when to stand up for yourself. Here's an example. Acknowledge your mistake, but don't dwell on them forever. Growth is the key. And the last virtue is justice. True justice means fairness without falling into envy or resentment. Here's an example. If a friend buys a luxury car, don't be bitter. Instead, focus on your own progress. So that's the last virtue, and now I will discuss the moral versus intellectual values. Moral values. Reasoning govern emotion and actions. Govern thinking and understanding. Example, courage, honesty, patience. While the intellectual virtues means developed through habit and practice. Developed through education. Here's the example, wisdom, understanding, and prudence. So that's the 12 virtues according to Aristotle. Now next we will we will forward to the next topic that will discuss by Ian and Sian.
Good evening, everyone. I will discuss Aristotle sees friendship as essential to a various life. He classified friendship into three types. First, friendship of utility, based on mutual benefits, like business partners. Example, two business partners work together because they both profit from the relationship. Once the business ends, their friendship fades. And second, friendship of pleasure, based on enjoyment. Example, hobbies and entertainment. Example, two people who enjoy playing tennis together but do not interact much outside the sports. If one loses interest in tennis, the friendship may weaken. Um, Three, friendship of virtue, the highest form where both individuals help each other grow morally. Example is two lifelong friends who support and challenge each other to grow morally and intellectually, remaining friend even when external circumstance change. That's all.
Good evening, everyone. Now we'll talk about influence of Aristotle's virtue. Aristotle's virtue ethic has profoundly influenced moral philosophy by shifting the focus from rigid moral rules to characterized development and moral excellence. His teaching continued to shape modern perspective on ethics in philosophy, psychology, education, and professional fields. Virtue ethics in modern moral philosophy, unlike deontological ethics, which focuses on duty, and utilitarianism, which focus on consequences. Aristotle virtue ethics emphasize the moral character of individual. Modern virtue ethics such as Philippa Foot and Alasdair MacIntyre have built upon Aristotle's ideas, arguing that ethics should not be, be about following strict rules, but, but about developing good character traits that leads to a fulfilling life. Aristotle's ethics virtue shifts to focus from following strict moral rules to develop good character. He believed that moral excellence comes from practicing virtue in daily life. Modern philosophers like Philippa and Alasdair build on his ideas, emphasizing that ethics should be about cultivating personal virtues that lead to fulfilling and meaningful life. Impact of psychology and in human behavior, Aristotle theory that virtues are formed through habit and repeated actions have influenced psychology, particularly in areas like positive psychology and character education. Researchers such as Martin Seligman have explored the connection between virtues and well-being, reinforce Aristotle's idea that living a virtuous life leads to happiness or eudaimonia. Aristotle argued that virtues are formed through habit, meaning that consistent practicing good behaviors leads to moral character. This idea has influenced psychology, particular, particular positive psychology and character education. Researchers like Martin Seligman have studied how virtue contribute to well-being, reinforcing Aristotle's belief that living virtues leads to true happiness. Application in leadership and governance in politics. And leadership, Aristotle's concept of practical wisdom, phronesis, remains relevant. Ethical leadership requires not only knowledge of rules, but also the ability to make morally sound decisions based on experience and good judgment. Leadership who embodied virtues such as justice, courage, and integrity are more likely to inspire trust and create a just society. Aristotle's concept of practical wisdom is essential for leadership. He believed that ethical leaders must go beyond just following rules. They need experience, good judgment, and moral reasoning. Influence on ethical decision making in professions. Aristotle's virtue ethics has shaped ethical standards in fields such as medicine, law, and business. For example, in medicine, the virtue of compassion ensures that doctors prioritize patient well-being over a profit. In law, integrity and fairness guide lawyers to seek justice rather than personal gain. In business ethics, honesty and responsibility help maintain trust between companies and society. In medicine, the virtue of compassion ensures that doctors prioritize patient well-being over financial gain. In law, integrity and fairness helps lawyers seek justice rather than personal advantages. While in business, honesty and responsibility promote trust between companies and society, ensuring ethical business practices. That's all.
The telos and happiness. According to Aristotle, every action we take has an inherent telos, or purpose or goal, and the ultimate telos of human life is to attain eudaimonia, a state of true happiness and fulfillment. This means that human beings should live in accordance with their rational nature and strive to develop virtues. Aristotle believes that happiness is not merely about pleasure but about engaging in meaningful and virtuous activities that contributes to personal and societal well-being. Aristotle's concept of eudaimonia. Eudaimonia is often translated as happiness or flourishing. According to Aristotle, eudaimonia is the ultimate human good and it is achieved through living a virtuous life and developing one's potential through reasons and activities. He also stated that in order to achieve eudaimonia, we have to focus on developing our moral and intellectual character rather than our material health. Then, Aristotle's concept of telos. Telos means something like purpose or goal. According to Aristotle, every action has its reasons and purpose. And in order to achieve our purpose and goals, we must first understand and realize our full potential.
For the crucial role of virtue in achieving eudaimonia. Virtue is the core of achieving eudaimonia, flourishing in Aristotle's philosophy, since it is the foundation upon which one can lead an excellent life. Virtues are, according to Aristotle, traits which enable human beings to perform their peculiar task excellently by reason. Virtuous acts are in accord with our rational nature so that we may live together as per our actual purpose. Virtue lies in finding the golden mean between extremes, courage as the mean between recklessness and cowardice. This means allows rational activity to be conducted excellently, which is required for flourishing. Even though virtues are required for eudaimonia, Aristotle does understand that there are external factors like friendship, wealth, and that tend to lead to flourishing, but without virtue, these external goods cannot lead to genuine happiness. External goods in human flourishing. To Aristotle, external goods are things outside of you like money, health, friends, and even good looks that allow you to live well and virtuously. He argues that while happiness comes from living virtuously, doing the right thing, and doing it with reason, you will still need these external goods to make it possible. For example, you need enough money to be generous or in good health to act in the world. Aristotle disagrees with Plato, who assumed happiness consisted of inner tranquility or soul justice. But Aristotle believes that happiness is something that results from action, doing, and action requires means, and means are always resources. Hence, external goods are means which make virtuous action possible, but are not equal to happiness itself. Impact of Aristotle's conception and happiness on ethical philosophy. Shifting the focus to virtue ethics, Aristotle changed the way we think about ethics by examining who we are rather than what we do. He wanted us to form good habits of character like courage and fairness rather than just obeying rules. Motivating modern ideas. His concept of eudaimonia, human flourishing, has motivated modern ideas about well being and personal development. Aristotle thought happiness results from living a meaningful life, not merely experiencing pleasure. Criticizing hedonism. Aristotle believed that existing for the sake of pleasure alone is not satisfying. Rather, he thought that one should live purposefully and virtuously. This has shaped the discourse on what actually makes life worth living. Incorporation of virtue into society. Aristotle's philosophy unifies personal virtues with reason and engagement in society. Aristotle claimed that good living is about living in a way that enhances society. Overall, Aristotle's lessons continue to influence ethics by emphasizing character, development, leading a meaningful life, and active participation in one's community as the means of achieving happiness and fulfillment.
So next, I'll be discussing the Aristotle's spiritual ethics, and one of its most important ideas is the golden mean. Aristotle introduces the concept of golden mean, which suggests that virtues lies between two extremes, excess and deficiency. For instance, bravery is a virtue that lies between recklessness, excess, and cowardice, which is deficiency. By practicing moderation and making wise choices, individuals can cultivate virtuous character traits. The golden mean is not a strict formula but varies depending on situation and the individual, requiring practical wisdom or pronosis to determine the right course of action. The concept and definition of golden mean. Aristotle's concept and definition of the golden mean, since virtue finds itself lying in the balance between two extremes, namely deficiency and excess, Aristotle's golden mean is a theory of ethical virtue. This mean is not arithmetic division but rather an ethical response determined by practical wisdom. Courage, for example, lies between cowardice and recklessness. What might be right in a particular situation for a specific person might differ from someone else. This is an essential principle for moral life in the Nicomachean Ethics, which guides moral decisions. Um, Aristotle believed here in Aristotle's concept and definition of the golden mean, Aristotle believed that morality isn't just um, about following rules. Instead, it's about developing a good character by practicing virtues in everyday life. And according to him, the ultimate goal of human life is to achieve eudaimonia, which means living a life of true happiness and fulfillment. Um, let's think that it's like a scale to a little trait, making a person lack virtue, while too much of it leads to harmful behavior. The right balance depends on the situations and the individual, which means moral decision making requires wisdom and self-awareness. For example, let's take the virtue of courage. If a person has too little courage, they became a coward, avoiding challenges and opportunities. But if they have too much courage, they became reckless, taking dangerous risks without thinking. The golden mean is bravery with wisdom, having the courage to take action while also being cautious. So next is the golden mean as guiding principle in the development of virtue. The golden mean is a guiding principle for the formation of virtuous character. It is a very scheme and arrangement for ethical nurture. The individual is continually attempting to hit the right mean in many situations as he conditions himself to develop his behavior towards his virtuous dispositions, constantly endeavoring to balance between these extreme forms and moral person and produce ethical conduct. It is not merely a matter of avoiding extremes, but it provides for an active cultivation of the mean within the virtuous disposition. Hence, the golden mean, which would teach a rule to follow, becomes a way to attain moral excellence. Here in the golden, um, here in the golden mean is a principle that help us find balance in our action. It suggests that virtues like between two extremes, like what I said, is deficiency and excess. Yeah. So next is example of the golden examples of moral and ethical and golden means. I mean. So we have honesty. The term means straddles the line between honest brutality and silence this year. This entails truthful communication and admittedly tempered by the consideration of context and possible damage. So here in honesty, we all know honesty is important, but being too honest can be hurtful while being too reserved can be misleading. Take this as an example. Imagine a friend asking for a feedback on their work. If we are brutally honest, we might say, "This is terrible. You should redo everything," which can hurt their confidence, right? But if we sugarcoat it too much, saying it's perfect when it isn't, they won't improve. The golden mean is truthful but considerate. Like saying, "This part is really good, but maybe you can define this section to make it clearer." This way, we will help them grow without discouraging them. Uh, next is generosity. The mean lies between deficiency or frugality and excess or extravagance. Hence, it means giving the appropriate amount according to one's own means, condition, and the need of recipient. So here in generosity, helping others is good, but it is important to find the right balance. Excuse me. Take this as an example, ulit. Suppose a friend asks me for financial help. If we are too stingy, we will refuse to help even kahit may pera tayo or kaya natin i-afford yung financial financial niya. But if we are too generous naman, we might give more than I can afford, harming myself financially then. The golden mean here is helping in a way that is both kind and responsible. For example, offering a reasonable amount or helping in another way, like finding resources for them, is good na. So last for the example of is anger. Anger is the main lies between indifference and rage. Justly provoked anger should be expressed rationally, which the assailant unequipped to take them seriously. So anger is a neutral emotion, but how we express it matters. Suppose someone makes a rude joke about me or about you. If we stay silent, they may think it's okay to continue. But if we react aggressively, I may, we may we may escalate the situation into a fight. So the golden mean here is responding firmly but calmly, like saying that wasn't okay. I'd appreciate it if you don't say that again. This way, we stand up for ourselves without unnecessary conflict. And the golden mean The golden means equivalence exemplify balancing individual interests with the well-being of society at large and averting of various extremes and hence the elevation of virtue. So next is practical and wisdom and moral decision that will be discussed by Mr. Aaron Aquino.
Practical wisdom and moral decision making. Practical wisdom propensis is closely related to moral decision making, yet these are two separated ideas. Practical wisdom can be defined as the intellectual virtue of knowing what is good to do in any particular instance and is conditional on theoretical understanding of ethical principle and practical experience. The moral decision-making process is the application of ethical principles plus practical wisdom to the particular of a moral predicament, resulting in an ultimate choice of action. In short, practical wisdom animates moral action making. It is the skill and the judgment that informs the action making process themselves. One is the capacity, the other is its application. Practical wisdom is knowing what good to do based on ethical principle and experience. Moral decision making applies this along with practical wisdom to moral problem. One is ability and the other it is used to choosing action. Criticism of the golden mean. Critics argue Critics argue that the golden mean is too subjective, lacking clear guidelines for determining the mean in complex situations. The concept struggles to address situations where both extreme might be morally objectionable, offering no clear path to virtue. Cultural relativism poses a challenge as the mean might vary across different societies and contexts. Furthermore, some argue that the golden mean oversimplifies ethical dilemmas, neglecting the complexities of moral decision making. Finally, the emphasis on moderation might fail to account for situations demanding decisive action, even if it means choosing one extreme over another. In explanation, critics Critics say the golden mean is too subjective, lacking clear rules in complex situations. It can handle costs. It can't handle cases where both extreme are bad and may oversimplify dilemmas. Also, it may not account for situations needing decisive extreme action. Next is the references.
Here are the references for all of the informations that we've gathered. That's all for this video. Thank you for taking your time watching this. That's all.